Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It is indeed the final home game for the Prowlers in the calendar year 2023 as they look to take the second of three meetings this weekend against the Motor City Rockers. We'll have much more for you on the pregame show coming up next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Welcome back to McMorran Place, second of three meetings this weekend between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, just minutes away from kicking off here at McMorran Place. But before we get started, let's take a look back at last night's game. It was a 3-2 overtime victory for the Port Huron Prowlers. Mitch Jones, who was signed earlier in the day, got the game winner in overtime, absolutely wiring a one-timer on the power play in the extra session after a cross-ice pass from Austin Federley. That was the game winner, but not to be not mentioned, Sam Merritt did tie the game with under 2 minutes to play, banging home a loose puck at the side of the crease to help the Prowlers send that one to OT and steal the extra point. Tucker Scantleberry also had a good game for the Prowlers, a couple of assists in that one, and Ian Wallace, a strong performance in net. Both goaltenders played well, 35 saves for Wallace. On the other side, Babin had 36 for Motor City, and Scott Koash and Jonathan Giuliano had the goals for the Rockers. We'll talk a little bit more about Koash coming up in just a minute when we get to our player spotlights. But first, let's take a look at the standings in the FPHL. And atop the Continental Division, we now have a deadlock, at least in points, as the Columbus River Dragons beat the Carolina Thunderbirds last night in Columbus to pull into a tie at 44 points apiece. Those two playing right now. They're actually through one period of play. It's 1-1. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on the scores all night long around the FPHL, their out-of-town scoreboard between periods. Mississippi also picking up a victory last night, so the Seawolves get 3 points and the Prowlers get 2, and Mississippi now 4 points ahead of the Prowlers in the Continental Division standings. On the other side, Motor City has a comfortable 6-point lead on Danbury, and Binghamton has a much more comfortable 18-point lead above the Rockers for the top spot in the Empire Division. Binghamton a 9-point lead on Carolina and Columbus for the top spot overall in the FPHL in terms of points. We mentioned Scott Koash listed as inactive today on the FPHL's transaction site after he signed a contract with the Quad City Storm. 14 goals and 25 points is that what that should say, but that leads the Rockers. He leads the Rockers in both categories this season, so a very tough loss for Motor City to endure today. Tristan Sims scored the opening goal last night for the Prowlers on a nice deflection off of Brian Parsons' wrist shot from the point. In 17 games this year, the rookie Sim, 6 goals and no assists, which is the most goals without an assist in the FPHL this season, which you can look at one of two ways. Might call him a bit of a selfish hockey player, which Tristan Sim is not. I think I'd more than likely just call him a goal scorer, a guy who is able to find the back of the net and puts the puck on net a lot. And 6 goals, a big one last night. He's had a couple of big ones this year and a fixture on that power play for Port Huron. Only one change to the Prowlers lineup tonight, Braden Deck is out, and coming in his spot on the third D pair is Dalton Young. He'll be paired up with the Czech Adam Heinzel on that third pairing, and everything else stays the same for the Prowlers. And you see Sam Merritt continuing to center Austin Federley and Brandon Picard, Evan Foley with Tristan Sim and Tucker Scantleberry in the top line. Matt Graham with Liam Freeborn and Dalton Jay. And that line did cause some good havoc, had a couple of good shifts in the offensive zone, even though they weren't rewarded for it, at least on the scoreboard. It was some good shifts from that top line for the Prowlers. They'll need all three lines going against the Rockers here tonight. And of course, they'll also need the 10th forward, Dan Chartrand, who played a big role in last night's game as well. Ian Wallace back between the pipes again for the Prowlers here tonight, as we're just minutes away from the pregame ceremonies and then the puck drop between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, as the Prowlers look to pull even in the Battle of I-94. This is the 8th meeting between these teams this season. 3-1 are the Prowlers against the Rockers. After Motor City won the first 4 meetings between these teams, Prowlers have won the last 3, and they'll look to pull even in the Battle of I-94 as we get set to send it down to ice level. And the PA announcer, Austin Dunn, as he announces the starting lineup for the Prowlers, which you already saw there on your screen. And we will send it down there momentarily as the Rockers have hit the ice. And we'll send you down to ice level now.
We remind all members of the armed forces and veterans who are present but not in uniform that you may render the military salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Sarah Dunn.
Oh, say can you see
Sarah Dent on the anthem tonight, and you see Prowlers superfan Kevin Samuelson doing the ceremonial puck drop over by the Zamboni doors before we get things underway tonight. In case you missed it, let's give you the Orthopedic Associates starting lineup again for the Prowlers. Up front, Matt Graham, Liam Freeborn, and Dalton Jay. On defense, Alex Johnson and Mitch Jones. And in net tonight for the Prowlers, Ian Wallace. And now we take a look at the starting goaltenders for tonight's game. Wallace will be going up against Ricky Gonzalez. A little bit of a surprise. I expected Trevor Babin to start again tonight, but likely we'll see him tomorrow. We'll also likely see Makar Sokolov tomorrow afternoon. But Wallace with a strong effort last night. 35 saves on 37 shots, getting his third victory of the season. Meanwhile, Gonzalez is 0-2 against the Prowlers. He's only made one start against Port Huron, but he was on the hook for the loss in that comeback victory for the Prowlers 2 weeks ago in Motor City. Rockers starting with Jonathan Giuliano's line. That's Giuliano, Delaney, and Gaudette. And on the back end, Rotundi and Fields. And we are underway. And quickly off the jump, Jones's pass eluded Freeborn's stick, and it goes for icing. So 8 seconds in, we'll get our first face-off in Prowler territory. And they'll put it over on the far side. Prowlers in their gold alternates tonight. As Giuliano and Graham get set to draw. Giuliano won it back clean. Rotundi with a wrist shot, eaten up by Wallace. He'll hang on for a whistle. Wallace controlled the game a lot last night, hanging on to pucks, whether they be shots like that or even dump-ins, covering the puck often. The Prowlers responded with some good luck on the face-offs. They didn't win that one, but they do get the puck out as Johnson skates it into offensive territory and dumps it around. Fields keeps it moving. And it's forced back to the other side. Rotundi tried to move it up the wall. He'll turn back in Fields' direction. Graham with a steal behind the net. Now Giuliano finds the loose puck, and he flew it right out of play. And that should be a delay of game penalty against Jonathan Giuliano. 40 seconds into this one, the Prowlers go to their first quality power play of the night. There's a turnover behind the net. Giuliano just trying to fire it out. And you heard it hit glass, but it actually hit the glass along the concourse, not the glass that will keep the puck in play. So the Prowlers power play, which went 1 for 5 last night. And that one was the overtime winner. Will get its first opportunity of the game. And Sam Merritt has been kicked out of the faceoff, replaced by Tucker Scantleberry. So the 217, Scantleberry and Sneath, will draw. And now Scantleberry has been ejected from the faceoff. Third time's the charm, right? Here's Evan Foley to take the faceoff. And now we'll drop the puck, and Foley wins it. Freeborn pinches in. There's Scantleberry over to Jones. Wines fires off a stick and drops behind the net. A little bit of a different power play unit here for the Prowlers. It's Scantleberry, Jones, Freeborn, Foley, and Merritt. Usually it'd be Alex Johnson on this unit. Mitch Jones taking his spot. And they may have just switched spots because Jones was on the other unit last night. As a stick fails a rocker. That was Conway. As he tried to clear the puck, Prowlers keep it alive, and now they have a stickless defender to work against. Jones over to Scantleberry, gives it back. Jones winds, fires, and that shot was hard and it went wide. Freeborn back over to Jones. Now Scantleberry walks over to Freeborn, wrist shot, and Gonzalez clutches that to the chest And he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 52 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. 18-12 left in this opening period. Graham to draw with Cade Lambden, and right off the face-off, it's sent all the way down on Wallace. Here is Alex Johnson out there with Federley, Schumacher, Graham, and Sim. Here's Schumacher flying in. Curling away from Delaney, but he gave it up to Wynn. Sim right in there on the forecheck, though. Wynn is able to get control and get it all the way down ice. Johnson whips it across, passes behind Schumacher. So Graham has to regroup with it. They'll leave it for Johnson. Dumped around. Milam keeps it moving up the wall. Sim pinches in to keep it alive for the Prowlers. Power play about to expire as Johnson's one-timer stopped by Gonzalez. He juggles but finds the rebound and covers up for a whistle. Successful PK for the Rockers early on in this one. As we're back to 5-on-5, face-off coming to Gonzalez's left. Prowlers get one shot on the power play and one shot just 2 seconds after. Rotundi around the net, moves it up, and now Wells dumps it in. Now Freeborn. This line for Motor City being centered by Adam Kuhn, number 13. He's out there with Wells and Tim Delaney. That one hopped over Fields' stick. This was where Sneath was last night, but he may be taking Scott Koash's spot on the top line after Koash went inactive today. Here's Dalton Young dangling through everyone, but just couldn't get the shot away. Young put it back on net. Picard in front, Federley! And Suffredini got a stick on it. Picard again. Looks, but his pass to Merritt cut off by Suffredini. Picard looking for Federley on the back door. That time it was Colton getting in the way. Merritt steps to the corner. Out high to Parsons. Feeds it back deep. Comes to Gaudette. Lead pass on for TJ Delaney. And now Suffredini moving in. Gives it over to Sneath from the outside. His shot held on to by Ian Wallace for a whistle. And now that top line for the Rockers with Sneath, again, as I mentioned, replacing Koash, along with Declan Conway and Cade Lambden. Sneath and Graham in on the faceoff. Sneath won it back, but Conway's shot hit traffic, and Milam wound one up that Wallace is able to stop. Jay's pass eluded Chartrand, so it goes all the way down for an icing. Another defensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers, and Sneath winning that last one back cleanly to Conway. That's the look they wanted. There's too many bodies in the lane. Sneath won it back again. This time the one-timer from Milam is gobbled up by Wallace as Conway passed it off. That's two clean face-off wins for TJ Sneath in his own end from Matt Graham, or in the offensive end, excuse me, away from Matt Graham. And this time an unfair drop. And Graham will step out. Dan Chartrand will take it. One to the wall. Conway gets it to the point. Wynn wristed it through. Missed wide by a couple of feet. Chartrand behind his own net. Up to Jones. He'll play it off the glass. Prowlers chase it down. Johnson fanned on the pass. Sneath the other direction. He overskated the puck and then blew a tire. Here comes Johnson. Poked off his stick. Neither team able to gain the blue lines. And now Jones does. He'll rim it around. Wynn and Jay get there together. Chartrand trying to dig it out, puts it towards the net, and Gonzalez gathers it in, covers up with Evan Foley in the area. We'll take a timeout, 5:06 gone. In the opening period, no score. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Adam Kuhn to take this face-off against Evan Foley. The 34-year-old played one season in the SPHL with Pensacola back in 2011-12, 13 points in 35 games and 106 penalty minutes. And he didn't play hockey until 2022-23, and since then he's played 5 MIHL games, 1 last year and 4 this year. So no pro hockey for him since 2011-12, over a decade ago. He's back out there tonight for Motor City as Fields tried to fire it in. Excuse me, I thought Kuhn was going out there. It's now Jonathan Giuliano's line as Gaudette steals it to Delaney. And he fired it wide. That was TJ Delaney. Rotundi with a drive, deflected, just dribbles past the post. Rotundi fires again and kicked out by Wallace. They give it right back to number 73 in white, but he can't handle it this time. And puck bounces past Fields. Prowlers get a change. Rotundi moves it up. Now it's Fields jumping in on the play, but he played too far ahead of himself, and then he goes down, taking down Adam Heinzel with him. Federley pulls it out of the pile. He'll fire it across to Picard. Has Merritt going towards the net. Picard sent it there, but just wide. Got through Heinzel at the point. He'll cycle back over to Young, who gives it right back to him. Young all the way across to Federley, who plays it off the boards, looking for Picard driving in. The backhander kicked out by Gonzalez. Federley put it back out in front. It was tipped wide off of maybe Picard's skate. Meanwhile, a couple of Rockers almost ran into each other as Wynn just sidestepped Milam. Here is Milam dangling his way around with all the forwards on going to the bench. Here's Conway on the loose puck. Shot blocked by Merritt. Picard works 1-on-2 with the Prowlers getting a change. Wrists it on net, gloved and held by Gonzalez for a whistle. Prowlers were in a delayed offsides though, so we'll see if they take that face-off outside the zone, and they will. So I believe they should have blown that one dead as soon as Picard crossed the blue line. As Graham will draw with Sneath, top line against top line. And it's one back to Alex Johnson, who dumps it in. Top D pairs for both teams also out there. As Jones sends it down the wall. Here's Freeborn Tried to feed it back out high. And instead, it's Colton coming the other direction. Colton to the trailer, Conway. Freeborn got his stick in the way. Conway around the cage. Working on his backhand, and now he'll cycle it around. Lambden poked it towards Colton, got past him. Jay trying to push his way by, he drew a penalty, gives it to Freeborn, backhand score! Dalton Jay fights his way through a check. There was a delayed penalty coming, but it doesn't matter as Liam Freeborn all alone shows off the hands, backhand shelf. Prowlers up 1-0. And a great second effort from Dalton Jay, who was interfered with. I believe that was going to be the call. But Liam Freeborn was all by himself in front of Ricky Gonzalez. No chance for Gonzalez, as Liam Freeborn is one of the best stick handlers on this Prowlers team, and a nice catch in the sweets behind Gonzalez after he blocked that dump out of play. He just goes backhand shelf on that one for his 8th goal of the year. Officially, it's Freeborn from Jay. It's 7:54 of period number 1 to open the scoring. Puck sits there off the drop, pulled out by Rotundi. That puck hits something on the way through, and now it bounces towards Schumacher. Short trend, turns it up to Foley. Prowlers have numbers, give to the trailer. Parsons down low. I think he was looking for Scantlebury heading towards the net. Puck now pops out of play. Brian Parsons jumping up into the rush. Put it on net. And again, I think he was looking for the deflection of Scantlebury, who was driving to the front of the cage. Couldn't find it though. But a good rush from the Prowlers, and they'll get an offensive zone face-off out of it. Young has to retreat to center. He'll just dump it right back in. Wynn gets there first. Standing behind his own net. Over to Milam in the corner. Head up, fires it up to Tim Delaney, who tips it in, and Wallace will gather it and clamp the glove down for a whistle and a face-off. And we're having more clock issues here at McMorran Place. Not sure if everyone has realized it yet. I think it is a technical problem that they're having here with the clock, as they are very good about starting and stopping the clock normally, and now they put up 11:13 back on it. I did see yesterday they held up the little device that they use to just start and stop the clock that's attached to the thing they have in there, and they unplugged it. That seemed to fix the clock. So I do think it is a technical problem, and we'll see if they are able to have that figured out the next time the Prowlers are back here at McMorran Place, which is January the 12th. Wind shot off a stick, goes to the far corner. Alex Johnson back in his own end, goes D to Mitch Jones. Right back to Johnson. Prowlers in the midst of a change as Federle bounces it off the boards and in. Picard goes in there with Wynn. Puck is loose. Lambden finds it and goes up the near side wall. Parsons cuts it off. Schumacher just did keep that one in, but the shot pass deflected by Jay and flies into the protective netting, out of play. 14 ticks away from the midway point of this opening period, and the Prowlers up 1-0 on the strength of Liam Freeborn's 8th of the year. Graham and Giuliano in on this face-off. Graham to the slot. Jay, wrist shot, stopped by Gonzalez. And he's able to clamp the glove down before Freeborn could get to that rebound. Little turn and shoot from Dalton J, but he sent it right into Gonzalez's chest. Parsons turns it deep, but it's bounced back out. Parsons watched by two Rockers, Gaudette and Delaney. Colton able to keep it in. He sent it on net, steered out of play by Wallace, and we'll take a timeout. Liam Freeborn, the only one so far, 1-0 Prowlers. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at McMorran Place, 1-0 Prowlers, 9:52 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Shots right now favoring Port Huron 9-7. And they'll face a defensive zone draw to Wallace's left. Rockers sending out Giuliano's line. They'll face off against Evan Foley. And Delaney and Heinzel here on the near side wall jumped early, and that was the reason for the whistle and the redrop. And this time they do it clean, and Foley wins it back. Scantlebury sends Foley out, makes a move around Giuliano. He has a 2-on-1 with Sim. Foley shoots, saved by Gonzalez. It dropped, and the Rockers have to clear it out. Gaudette to Giuliano. Quickly across to TJ Delaney. Heinzel takes it back for the Prowlers. Now Suffredini to Colton. Waits for the play to develop. His pass to Suffredini got away. Sim takes it away from Kuhn. And then Heinzel's pass deflected in by Scantlebury. Not sure if he actually got a piece of that or not, but the icing was negated either way, and then the Rockers score. I believe that's Adam Kuhn who walked in and fires it past Ian Wallace. And Motor City has tied this one up with 9:01 to go in period one. So Kuhn, the Southgate, Michigan native out of Davenport University, playing in his first pro hockey game in over a decade, ties the score with a quick wrister. Wynn feeds it up, deflected in. The goal scorer Kuhn after it with Alex Johnson. Wells tried to feed it to the point, didn't get enough on it. Federley the other way. Tips it up to Picard. Tried to feed it back out in front. Comes all the way to Jones. Gets it softly behind the net. Wynn took it away. And he just gets it out. Jones off the boards. Sneath trying to work it back in. And now Johnson behind his own net as the Prowlers begin to change. Federley up to Graham. Surrounded by white sweaters, so he'll dump it in. Milam to the near side wall. Conway gets it out. Parsons over to Schumacher. His pass eluded everyone, and icing waved off again. I think this time because Wynn just let it go by. Parsons towards the net, deflected and knocked out by Gonzalez. Parsons has it again, wrists it through, and this time Gonzalez squeezes it and has it for a whistle. And Graham chatting with a couple of Rockers, Wynn and Milam. Everybody's separated. We'll get an offensive zone face-off for Port Huron. Prowlers sending out the captain, Evan Foley's line. Foley and Giuliano to take the face-off. And Foley turned it on net, steered out by Gonzalez. Rotundi rims it around. Schumacher plays it back deep. Rotundi skates into it. He'll backhand it towards the Prowlers' blue line. Schumacher got down to block it. His pass, though, cut off. Scantlebury comes back to make a play on Giuliano. And then Foley was knocked down away from the puck by Rotundi. That's going to draw a penalty and a crowd of Prowlers as the puck bounced out to center and Rotundi came flying in on Foley, who was still in the Prowlers zone. He'll head to the box. Foley still on the seat of his pants. He'll get himself back to his feet and head to the Prowler bench. Port Huron to its second power play of the period, 0 for 1 so far. And this time, the interference will be called. Prowlers negated the last potential interference penalty with a goal. They send out Matt Graham's unit, giving Foley an opportunity to get a breather on the bench. As Foley's part of the other unit, Colton clears it right off the drop. Johnson gets it to Schumacher, but off his stick. Colton will take his time and send a lead pass on for Conway, who fired it just a couple inches high of the crossbar. Johnson to the near side. Federley steps in, tried a toe drag. It was poked off his stick and sent all the way back down. 40 seconds gone on the Prowlers power play, and they'll switch up the unit. Evan Foley stepping out onto the ice after drawing the penalty. Merritt drops it to Scantlebury. He'll give to Jones, who revs the engines and moves up ice. Scantlebury on the near side. Sidesteps a hit from Milam. Rims it around towards Freeborn, hopped over his stick and rolls out of the zone. 53 seconds left on the Prowlers power play as Jones fires it up to Scantlebury. Curls back, gives to Jones. Freeborn walks in, down to Merritt. He blew a tire. Wynn able to take the puck, but Jones keeps it in. Jones has it back, walks, fires a wrist shot, blocked by Lambden. And Gaudette plays it off the boards, only as far as Jones. 25 seconds left on the power play. Jones to Scantlebury. He'll shoot, it's blocked partially and ends up in the corner. Jones again with 15 on the man advantage. Freeborn back to Jones. Wrist shot kicked out. The rebound, score! Freeborn put it back on net. It pinballed around and beats Gonzalez. Power play goal for the Prowlers, and they take the lead back. And it looks like it will be Liam Freeborn's goal as the Prowlers take the lead back. The first shot from Jones caused a rebound, and then Freeborn put it back on net. Not sure what that hit, or if it just went straight in. Tough to tell from my angle. But a big goal for the Prowlers as they take the lead back with 5.5 left to go in the opening period. Giuliano with a steal to Delaney. His shot off the pad of Ian Wallace. Colton back on net, and Heinzel gets down to block it. Heinzel up towards Federley. That got through everyone and will go all the way down for icing. So Jones and Merritt picking up the assist on the goal, being credited to Liam Freeborn. The power play goal for the Prowlers. That's power play goals in 3 straight games for Port Huron. Giuliano and Graham in on this face-off. Giuliano wins it back clean. Suffredini missed the net with that shot through traffic. Played up to Jay. Dumps it in, gets after it himself. Ian Suffredini bump. Graham waiting for help off the bench, looking for Scantlebury. They couldn't connect. And now Johnson will start up ice. Gets in. Johnson with a quick shot. Caught the back glass. Parsons just couldn't keep it in. Now Wells looking to move the other direction. Wells with a shot that missed short side. Suffredini didn't keep it in. He thinks he did, but the linesman disagreeing. And we'll take a timeout after that offside. 4:32 to go in the opening period. Prowlers with a 2-1 lead. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's! Offside the call against the Rockers before that TV timeout. Despite the disagreement from Dante Suffredini, I believe it was called by linesman Colin Pons. He's out there on the lines with John Tollew tonight. The referees are Jonathan Sitarski and Paul Jean. Looks like they've taken the assist away from Sam Merritt on that last goal. So right now it's just Freeborn from Jones. As that one's kicked into offensive territory. Chartrand hustling after it, but Wynn gets there first. Plays it off the glass. Kept in by Young at the line. Foley behind the net. Out to Scantlebury. And getting him from behind was Conway with a good stick lift. Chartrand touches it on for Foley. Overskated it, but gets it to Scantlebury. His shot blockered into the protective netting by Ricky Gonzalez. 4:02 left to go, opening period. Shots on goal favoring the Prowlers 15-8 right now. They have that 2-1 lead as Sam Merritt gets his line back out there. One back to Johnson. He'll find Federley on the wall. And now Rotundi behind the net. He goes down. And Merritt is going to be called. That one coming from the back. Referee Sitarski. Not called by Paul Jean in the corner, but Sitarski from the neutral zone. But either way, it's Merritt heading to the box, and the Prowlers to their first penalty kill, straightened up by True Balance Chiropractic, and a penalty kill that, after going 3 for 3 last night, is no longer last in the FPHL. Now 10th at 71.6%. Going back up against the top-ranked power play in the league at just over 30%. As Conway trying to wrestle the puck away from Alex Johnson, is able to work it to Sneath. Out high it comes to Wynn. Thought about the pass across, instead he'll feed it to Sneath. TJ Delaney in front of the net. Sneath tried to get it there. It's batted back to the line. Mylema glove save by Wallace on that drive. A little flashing of the leather from the Prowlers netminder on that one. Face off now on the far side. 19 seconds gone in the Motor City power play as Milam gives it to Wynn. Milam again, the one-timer. This time kicked out by Wallace. Federley works it up the wall. He has it back, and he'll play it off the near side boards to Motor City ice. Wynn watched by Chartrand. And now Wynn up the left wing side. He gets it back into offensive territory all the way around the net. He leaves it there for TJ Sneath. Gets it back at the blue line. He and Milam almost got their signals crossed, and Foley able to take the puck and send it all the way down halfway through the penalty to Sam Merritt. Milam over to Wynn, drops it off for Giuliano. Taken off his stick neatly by Dan Chartrand right to Graham, who sends it back to Motor City ice. Gaudette makes a move, continues chugging. Giuliano back to the point to Colton. Over to Supperdini, right back in Colton's one-timer. Blockered away by Wallace. 30 seconds left on the power play. It's Supperdini to Colton, another one-timer. This time whistles wide. Supperdini again. Out high, Colton walks. Supperdini on the near side wall. Sent it on net, deflected off the post. Giuliano got a touch on it. That hit the outside of the iron. Supperdini again, down low. This time they score. It's Tristan Wells touching it home with 6 seconds left on the power play. And the Rockers have tied this game up at 2. Looks like they're trying to get the puck or something. Maybe it was Gaudette, one of the two, as Wells and Gaudette were hanging out in front. Supperdini put that puck there. I think it was Tristan Wells who did get the touch on it. Either way, a high-scoring opening period. 2-2 with under 2 to play in the opening 20 minutes. Johnson to Jones. Up towards Evan Foley. Now Sim has it. Tried the pass over to Scantlebury. It was behind him. Conway moves the other direction. Pulls up at the Prowler line. Foley comes back to steal the puck. Johnson to Foley. Enters offensive territory. Makes a move. His rising shot knocked down by Gonzalez. Landon and Scantlebury battling for that puck. Now it slides down where Rotundi and Foley are locked up. Right now they're giving the goal to Gaudette from Suffredini and Wells. So my apologies, it was Roman Gaudette who did get the touch on it. Now Johnson 2-on-1 with Sim. Johnson across Sim, loads it, and his shot stopped by Gonzalez. That one fired all the way down. Wallace trying to play it away from the oncoming Giuliano, who poked it off his stick. Luckily the Prowlers able to regain possession, but Johnson has iced the puck with 37.9 seconds left in the opening period. Little 2-on-1 there for the Prowlers as Johnson tried to feed Sim, and Sim had to take a moment to load it up, and that gave Gonzalez just a half second to slide over and make a good save. Gaudette cycles it deep towards Giuliano in front where TJ Delaney was. Gaudette with a steal, but he gave it right back to Schumacher. Now Merritt moving up, blew a tire, and then he's sent down to the ice by Milam. Delaney with 13, all by himself. Schumacher steals the puck. Prowlers with time for one last rush. It's Federley with 5, getting in. Tried to float it towards Graham. That was cut off. And Delaney couldn't handle that puck, and time will run out on this entertaining first 20 minutes of play. 2-2 our score here from McMorran Place. Each team with a power play goal, each team with a short or even strength goal. And the shots on goal favoring the Prowlers, 17-12. Well, coming up in the first intermission report, little schedule deja vu. Prowlers are in the midst of a 7 games in 9 days stretch, and we take a look back at late December, early January of last season, when they had a very similar stretch of 7 games in 12 days with lots of travel. So we will take a look back at that stretch, see how they handled it, and see if they can continue to handle this one, as they will be going to Mississippi and Carolina in the span of this next week. Also have some storylines from around the FPHL. It's all coming up on our first intermission report right here on the PHP Network. Didn't get what you wanted for the holidays? No worries. Port Huron Prowlers Team Store has all your favorites. Store features shirts, hats, decorations, and more, with new merch coming in all season long. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game, all season long, or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your po-ho best with gear from the Prowlers Team Store. First intermission underway here from McMorran Place. Prowlers and Rockers knotted up at 2. We'll take a break, and when we come back, little schedule deja vu, taking a look back at last season's busy schedule around this time of year. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers?
You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers?
You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PHProwlers, and Twitter at PHProwlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Let's go! They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Back here at McMorran Place, we're just wrapping up the first intermission, and the Prowlers and Rockers are knotted up at 2 goals apiece. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday night. And before we take a look back at that opening period, let's look around the FPHL at the other matchups going on. A full slate of games tonight, as the Columbus River Dragons and Carolina Thunderbirds are battling in Winston-Salem. They're knotted up at 2 through 2 periods of play, as Carolina has had leads of 1-0 and 2-1, but the Dragons have been able to tie each time. Binghamton Black Bears scored the first 3, but the Danbury Hat-Tricks got the last 2, and it's Binghamton 3, Danbury 2 through 20 minutes of play in Danbury. They're at the first intermission down in Mississippi, and Matthias Tellstrom has the one for Baton Rouge, and Hugo Koch has the one for the Seawolves. 1-1 through 20 minutes down there in Biloxi. It's the next place the Prowlers will visit after Big Boy Arena tomorrow afternoon. Finally, in Watertown, it's 1-0 Wolves on the strength of a Trevor Lord goal, as they lead the Elmira River Sharks midway through the opening period of play. And of course here, it is still 2-2. A couple of big storylines around the FPHL in the last day or so, not necessarily about the Prowlers or the Rockers, although the Rockers made a few moves today, including putting Koash on the inactive list, and they also released Derek Makema. But as far as other teams around the league go, Josh LaBelle signed with Danbury officially, made his hat-tricks debut last night and got an assist. Josh Rosenzweig signed back with Watertown, and he made 40 saves in that same game and got the victory against Danbury. Of course, LaBelle was acquired via trade from Columbus back in October, but hadn't played a game yet up until this point. Now a big piece on the Danbury defense, as last season it was a second-team All-Star with the River Dragons. Of course, Danbury is hurting for players, as we know from when they were there last week, as the Hat-Tricks are just trying to fill in spots. So they had a couple of guys go inactive last week, and a couple of defensemen, plus the Daniel Amesbury, who got suspended. He was playing defense for the Hat-Tricks as well. So certainly big for Danbury that Josh LaBelle is in the lineup. Bobcats activated Connor Green, and they also traded this week for Owen Liskowitz. So Blue Ridge now all of a sudden has a logjam in the crease, as their #1 goaltender has returned. So see what they do. They're off this weekend, so plenty of time to figure that one out. But some interesting decisions to be made down there for the bottom team in the Continental Division. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, both teams with a power play goal in this one. 2-2 our score. Prowlers up on shots 17-12. And really the only penalties in that opening period were the minors that ended up resulting in power plays. Prowlers 1 for 2 on the man advantage, and the Rockers a perfect 1 for 1, the top-ranked power play in the FPHL coming into tonight. Before we start the second period, take a look at our PHP Network trivia question. Last night was the second overtime game winner for the Prowlers at McMorran Place this season. Of course, Vinny DeCumbus got the other one back in October. We want to know, when was the last season that the Prowlers had multiple home overtime wins? They've had multiple overtime wins in a number of seasons throughout their history. When was the last time they had multiple overtime game winners scored here at McMorran Place? I'm not counting shootout wins, just overtime game winners. And just here at McMorran Place, put your answer in the chat, and we will let you know what the correct answer is at the start of the third period. Ian Wallace getting set in the goal crease, 2 hours left. He made 10 saves on 12 Rocker shots in the first 20 minutes of play. Ricky Gonzalez in the goal crease to our right. 15 saves on 17 Prowler shots. No penalties running over into this period. The referees, Johnson, Sitarski, and Paul Jean, just fixing a patch of ice down over in the Rocker zone along the boards. And now we are all set to go to begin the middle 20 minutes of play, as Evan Foley gets set to draw against the veteran Jonathan Giuliano. Both goaltenders ready, the players are ready, and we are underway in the Hungry Howie's second period. That one tipped along by Scantleberry into offensive territory. Rotundi moves it up the wall. Now Scantleberry steals it back. His shot rises out of play off a stick. So once again, we'll get an early face-off here in this second period, just 18 seconds in. Face-off will be down to Gonzalez's right. Foley wins it right back to Jones. He scores! That only took about a second. Quick wrister from Mitch Jones off the faceoff, and the Prowlers have regained the lead again. That's exactly what they were looking for off that draw, and you couldn't load it up and fire it home any quicker than Mitch Jones did. His second goal of the year and second point tonight. He gives the Prowlers a 3-2 lead, 19 seconds into period number 2. As Parsons sent that one right in on Gonzalez. He has it in the breadbasket, and will hang on for another offensive zone draw for Port Huron. A goal and an assist last night for Jones. And he's already up to a goal and an assist again tonight. Schumacher with a quick wrister off the faceoff. This time Gonzalez able to steer it away. Just a few less miles per hour on that one from Frank Schumacher than on the goal from Mitch Jones. Schumacher, or Chartrand, excuse me, turning it deep. Quick up towards Lambden. Schumacher takes it away. Now up to Chartrand into offensive territory. Gives it to Federley, but couldn't get it in a shooting position with Sneath right there. Lambden dumps it in. Parsons after it. Now Schumacher works it up to Austin Federley. Off the glass, bounces to Wynn. Watched by Matt Graham. He'll get it up to Kuhn. Trying to kick it along. Wells backhands it off the glass and in. Parsons fires it out towards Schumacher. That one poked out to neutral ice. And Tim Delaney rims it in. Schumacher has to be quick on it. He's chased out by Wells. Parsons moves it up the wall. Freeborn on to Jay. Puck sits there loose. Graham tried to one-hand it in. He's able to find it, but couldn't get it all the way over to Dalton Jay. Now Schumacher uses his skate to keep that puck alive. Kuhn turning on Graham behind the net. He'll fire a pass up to Tim Delaney. Poked off his stick momentarily. He just gets it deep. Heinzel after it. His pass couldn't find its intended target as Fields turns it back the other direction. Milam softly to the corner. Gaudette plays it there. Taken in by Heinzel. And now Jay with the puck, trying to start a rush with Freeborn. Gets it back. And the Prowlers offsides. 2:28 gone in the Hungry Howie's second period. On the strength of a Mitch Jones goal. Prowlers with a 3-2 lead. Sam Merritt will take the draw against Giuliano outside of the Rockers zone. He wins it back. And Young starts the regroup onto Federley. Quick up to Picard. Tried to drop it off. And now Young skates back in with it. Makes the move and off the crossbar on that quick shot. Young gets it back deep. Now Fields backhands it out to Gaudette. 2-on-1 if they hurry, but the Prowlers hustle back. Gaudette from the outside, shouldered away by Wallace. Then Fields with a drive that sticks to the chest of Ian Wallace for a whistle. First couple of shots on net for the Rockers in this period as they trail for the third time in this game. It's been another nice back and forth game between these two teams. Rivalry has been tight. It was last year and has been so far this year. And Suffredini just couldn't keep it in at the line. So delayed offsides as Sneath has to step out and touch up. Prowlers on the breakout. It's Jones wiring it around. Johnson comes in to keep it alive. Now Sim gets it deep to Scantlebury. Comes over to Foley, out high Jones, winds and fires that one off of Conway. That pass behind everybody for the Rockers who are leaving the zone already. Icing waved off as Johnson plays it behind his own net, up to Scantlebury. His team in the midst of a change as he took a hit from Wells. Kuhn the other direction, trying to fight through a check. And Johnson plays it over to Schumacher. Schumacher turned it over. Wells after it. Able to get it deep. There's Johnson, leaving it for Schumacher behind the net. Foley up to Scantlebury, has Jay. He'll just dump it in, and Jay will head after it. Suffredini first on it, though. Long lead pass to the Prowlers' blue line, touched in by Giuliano. Schumacher quickly back for it. He turned right into Jonathan Giuliano. Now Graham up the boards to Freeborn. Plays it off the wall. Jay hustling after it, but Wynn able to chop it back the other direction. Here's TJ Delaney. Power move! And Wallace able to slide across and give Delaney absolutely nothing. Prowlers trying to move the other way with numbers. It's Freeborn saucing it towards Jay, but Sneath took it away. Now Freeborn back the other direction towards Graham, trying to push it through Wynn. Ends up sliding to Gonzalez, who will clamp the glove on top for a whistle. Mitch Jones has the Prowlers up 3-2 with 5:06 gone in the Hungry Howie's second period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumbcoats professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at McMorran Place, 14:54 to go in the second period. Prowlers up 3-2. They'll get an offensive zone faceoff after the cover from Ricky Gonzalez just before the TV timeout. Federley and Wynn trying to get a quick jump off the far side boards. It's the delay in the faceoff, and now they'll drop it. Wynn plays it around. Picard comes back for it. Gives it to Jones from the outside. Played it off the back of the cage. Merritt keeps it moving down low. Federley after it. Picard cut that clearing attempt off. His shot blocked partially by Wynn. Don't think that one got all the way to Gonzalez. Merritt from the point. Fired that one through traffic into the near side corner. Picard with a steal. Now it's Federley. Across to Johnson. Down to Jones jumping in deep. Jones behind the net. Fed it out in front. Gonzalez got the paddle on it. Bounces around back below the goal line. Federley across to Jones. They'll bump it off the wall towards Johnson, but that one chopped out by Milam. Jones trying to turn right back the other way. Rockers get a couple skaters off and a quick change. Quick up to Federley. Has Foley tried to send it there. That was blocked. Wells the other direction. From the outside, knocked down by Wallace. And he gathers in the rebound with a little help from Dalton Young. He'll cover up for a whistle. 13:42 left to go in the second period. Now the Prowlers will have to defend a faceoff to Wallace's left. And it's Adam Koonsline out there for Motor City, as he'll draw with the Prowlers captain Evan Foley. Puck sits there, it squirts across towards Chartrand. Now up to Scantleberry. Scantleberry trying to dangle past Rotundi, couldn't do it. Young steps in from his defensive position to keep the puck alive. He digs away. Puck comes out high where Foley was. Foley has it back. He tried to dump it deep, but Fields gloved it down. Prowlers will play it back in their own end. Young starts skating, gives it to Scantleberry. The return feed ended up going all the way across to Adam Heinzel, who spins down to the ice, but he's able to get the puck deep. Rotundi reverses it towards Fields. Quick up, finds Giuliano. Rockers with a 3-on-2. Giuliano from the outside, right into Wallace, and he'll hang on. A little crowd gathering, and Wells giving, and Gaudette giving some shoves. Now Parsons a little frustrated with something. Wells trying to get after Tucker Scantleberry, it looked like. And Paul Jean is going to take Tristan Wells. But he's holding up 4-on-4, so Prowler must be going with him, and it's Brian Parsons. So that will even things up. We'll play four-side hockey for the next 2 minutes as Parsons and Wells take a seat. Roughing on either side. Faceoff will stay deep in Prowler ice. Prowler sending out Graham, J, Johnson, and Jones against Giuliano, Delaney, Suffredini, and Colton. Faceoff comes to the center, and Johnson put that into his own net. Oh, it popped up in the air, and Alex Johnson batted at it, and it goes off the post and in. And about as tough as a break as you can get for the Prowlers, ties this score. Great fortune for Motor City, and I believe Giuliano will get credit for this goal as he was the face-off man. Johnson was just trying to knock the puck down and ended up putting it in his own net. So we're back to a 3-all. Suffredini goes D-to-D to Colton. And Johnson turning away from Giuliano. His pass towards Graham ends up going all the way down for icing. So 19 seconds to gone in the 4-on-4, and Rockers bench chirping Johnson, and Johnson chirping back at them about the ice. That's what it sounded like. You said something about the ice. There's Colton tried to wrist that one through. It just goes wide. Turn back on net. Tipped past the cage by Sneath. They give it to Delaney, actually, as Jones lays it back at center. Now it's moved up to Conway. Pulls up, curling on Jones. Officially, it's Delaney from Giuliano, as Conway whiffed on that shot attempt. It goes down to the ice, to the delight of the Prowlers faithful. Johnson weaving through center into offensive territory. Taken away by TJ Delaney. And now Schumacher over to Scantlebury. Scantlebury trying to work his way in. Collapsed on by a couple of Rockers. Now Delaney curling back. 40 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Suffredini works on the near side. Plays it across to Giuliano. He'll dump it in. Federally around to get it. Moves it up to Freeborn. 2 Rockers to him. He'll feed it off to Schumacher. Schumacher pulls up. He'll dump it around. Freeborn and Wynn behind the net looking for the puck. Squirts out in front. Comes all the way back to Johnson. Over to Schumacher. Wrists it through. Stopped by Gonzalez. Sneath backhands it, but right to Scantlebury. We're back to 5-on-5. And Scantlebury backhands that one deep. Milam back around towards Wynn. Long lead pass on for Conway. Play it off the wall to Sneath. Has lammed it in front, couldn't get it there. Sneath this time right on net, and it's gloved and held by Ian Wallace. 10:28 to go in the middle period. We're knotted up at 3 apiece. Kuhn out there to take the draw against Sam Merritt. Conway right behind him. And Conway takes a quick shot, just sent wide on the short side. Fields down deep. Took a hit from Merritt. And now Heinzel finds the puck. Off the wall, Sim couldn't chop it further. Young settles it down, he'll skate up ice. 4 Rockers back. Young wrists it in from the red line. Conway and Sim get there together. Somebody lost their stick. It was Picard. And he lost it because he was slashed. And the Prowlers will go to the power play when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Devon Fields to the box for slashing. Prowlers back to the quality power play for the third time in this game. And they are 1 for 3 so far. 9:57 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. They'll send out the unit with Merritt, Foley, Scantleberry, Jones, and Freeborn. The unit that scored the power play goal earlier on tonight. Colton, Delaney, Suffredini, and Giuliano killing for the Rockers. And they work it back to Jones off the draw. Scantleberry walks down the wall. Behind the net, Foley. In front, Merritt swung and missed. Jones keeps it in. Gets it deep, Merritt keeps it moving. Foley out to Scantleberry. Plays it out from Merritt, got this one. Stopped by Gonzalez and the rebound cleared away. Now Liam Freeborn drops it for Jones. Foley up to Freeborn. Prowlers entering with numbers. A couple of Rockers trailing the play, but Freeborn will slow up and they'll set up. His pass cut off by Suffredini. Scantleberry just kept it in momentarily, but now Delaney's away on a short-handed break, and his shot gloved by Wallace. He'll keep it moving. We're halfway through the Prowlers' man advantage. Foley sends it up to Scantleberry. He had the puck taken away, and it goes all the way down to Prowler ice, where Wallace will play it up the wall to Foley. Schumacher all the way across to Austin Federley. Leaps around a hit. He'll enter offensive territory and dump it around. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Johnson to Graham, backhanded it right through the crease. Nobody home though on the other side. Schumacher over to Johnson, down to Graham. Tried to feed it back out in front, hit Sneath with it. And that one sent down the length of the ice. Should take care of the final seconds of this power play as Fields is set to step out of the box. Federley, that's back to 5-on-5. Out high to Johnson. Tried to find Federley, but pass wasn't in his wheelhouse. Johnson plays it back at center, and he'll dump it right back in. Another successful penalty kill for the Rockers. We stay 3-3. As Scantleberry plays it back to Johnson. 7.5 minutes to go in the second period. Chartrand moved it ahead. Merritt skates after it. Working on Milan, put it in front. And Gonzalez just able to cover it in the blue paint and get a whistle. Dan Chartrand right there trying to crash the crease as Gonzalez cut off that pass with the paddle and gathered it in. Got the glove on top. Couple of times, though, Seeing Gonzalez cover it with his glove and then pick up his glove for a moment as if he's unsure if he has it. As Parsons shot through traffic, gloved and held by Gonzalez, and no rebound that time. He did on that last one when he gathered it in. It looked like he clamped the glove on top, then picked it up for a second to make sure, and then put his glove back down. Tim Delaney plays it off the wall. Heinzel over to Scantlebury, settles it, and tried to make a lead pass on for Picard, but ended up icing the puck. So the choppy minute continues as far as whistles go, with another face-off coming, this time to Ian Wallace's right. Merritt will take it against Giuliano. Giuliano won it back clean. Suffredini right back down. Giuliano sent it to the crease, but Wallace cut it off and covers up. Shots in this period favoring the Rockers 7-6. Prowlers still up in the game 23-19. Each team with a goal in this middle period, and both of those goals coming off of Prowler sticks. And almost another one as Krem won that faceoff right into Ian Wallace's glove. They'll try it again. Graham wins it back. Johnson gives it over to Jones, up to Graham. Now on for Freeborn, working on Colton, who takes him into the glass. Jones just able to keep it alive. Suffredini plays it off the boards and out. Jones takes it back at the red line. It's taken off his stick and sent over to the near side where Johnson plays it. Quickly up to Graham, but it's bounced back right on the stick of Delaney. His shot knocked down by Wallace, and Giuliano couldn't cash the rebound in. Graham curls on Colton, gives it back towards Johnson. Giuliano took it away. Johnson steals it right back. It's in a cross-corner dump. Prowlers touch up, and they begin to change. Pass kicks into Prowlers territory. Young sauced it out. And Young this time able to bang it off the wall, and Suffredini takes it back. A little bit of ping pong hockey here. Both teams just firing it towards each other. Prowlers trying to change that as Chartrand enters the offensive zone. He'll get it deep and go after Fields. Fields curling back all the way around. Lambden has it on the far side wall. He'll chip it out. Young goes D-to-D to Schumacher. 5:15 left to go in the middle period, as Foley and Fields are after this loose puck. Fields tried to backhand it out. He whiffed on it. Two Prowlers collapsing on him. Federley trying to pull it out. Now Federley has it again. Plays it right up the boards. Whistles blow, and not sure what they're pointing at. Maybe we'll find out, maybe not, but what I do know is that we'll take a break with 4:58 to go in the second period. And you're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry?
Howie's! Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP network here at McMorran Place with 4:58 left to go in the second period, and the Prowlers and Rockers tied up at 3. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight. This series will wrap up tomorrow as Wallace gloves that dump in. Series will wrap up tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. at Big Boy Arena. A quick turnaround for both of these teams after playing 2 straight nights here at McMorran Place. As Wells off the face-off, sees it go deep. Should be interesting to see what kind of game we get tomorrow, again with the quick turnaround. As Fields tries to step out, here's Merritt playing it up to Picard. He sends Federley on his way. Surrounded. Federley just doing all he can to get it deep where Picard is. It got past him. Fields stepped into by Heinzel. A battle in the corner, and Wells just softly plays it off the boards and out. Merritt back in his own end. Leaves it for Parsons. Merritt heading off for a change. Lead pass on for Sim. Makes a move, one-hander, and Gonzalez able to stop it and cover up for a whistle. And Tristan Sim trying for another goal on his old college teammate. He already has a couple this year on Gonzalez. Foley and Giuliano get set for this face-off. Gaudet plays it off the wall to himself. He gets it out, but Johnson takes it back for the Prowlers. Foley tips it in. Now Jones sliding in from his defensive position to play the puck. Tried to kick it along. Instead, coming the other direction is Gaudet. Left the puck behind. Jones had a touch on it, but Giuliano was flying in. Played it towards the front. And now it's Jones again. Foley dumps it around. Scantlebury and Wynn after it. Flip back out to center where Parsons is waiting. Johnson towards Foley. Tried to tip it in, hit a couple of rockers. Milam, a little toe drag. Sent it back door, bounces around and just dribbles wide. Bounces out in front again. And how did Declan Conway not put that home? He may have hit Evan Foley with it as the puck flew out of play. Well, that puck lay on a tee for Declan Conway with chaos in front and Ian Wallace swimming. And I think he may have hit Evan Foley. That puck flies over the glass into the protective netting. All that started with a nice toe drag from Milam. He sent it towards the net and then the chaos began. Prowlers trying to get it out and alleviate some pressure, but it's kept in. And Wallace has seen enough, he'll cover up. .242 left to go in the second period. Well, another face-off deep in Prowler territory. It's won by Sneath. Conway tried to slip it through. And now it's Matt Graham. Plays it up the wall, Freeborn looking for Jay. That bounces off of him right to Lambden. And it's juggled and held by Wallace, and now some extracurriculars. Conway trying to get after Adam Heinzel. Conway's lost his bucket and things will settle down. Couple of ticks under 2.5 to play in the middle period. Both teams will make changes to the forward lines. Prowlers also switching up the deep pair. As it's Merritt's line with the top defensive pairing for Port Huron. As Kuhn gets set for the faceoff with Merritt. And number 77 in gold, able to win that back clean. Merritt has it again, couldn't make a move at his own blue line, but Johnson backs him up and dumps it in. Colton bangs it around the wall. Federley cut it off, only momentarily, as Tim Delaney is out the other direction. Jones, collapsed on by a couple of rockers, still maintains possession and gives it over to Merritt, who will try the other side. Picard tipped it along, but Colton took it away, and Jones rims it back around. This time it will get out. Under 2 to play in the period. Gaudette works in on Johnson, and Wallace able to scoop that softly up and get a whistle and a face-off with 1:42 left to go in the second period. Hasn't necessarily been the prettiest of second periods tonight. A lot of ping pong hockey with both teams just dumping it out of their own end to each other. And both teams do have a goal in this frame, as that one kicks towards the front of the net, out of the reach of Delaney. So Jay's able to flip it out, and now Freeborn on it. Rotundi gets it right back to center. That's exactly what I was talking about. Both teams just dumping it out to each other. Fields collects back in his own end. TJ Delaney tried to play it across. Delayed off sides right now as Motor City has to touch up. Here's Young with a head of steam. Young on the backhand, had it poked off his stick. Floats it back towards the point, where Freeborn will have to play back towards his own end. We're under a minute to go in the middle period. Young almost turned it over behind his own net, but he's able to get it to Freeborn, who lofts it out. Rotundi plays it right back the other way. Sneath down towards Lambden. Back in front looking for Sneath off of Schumacher's skate. Penalty upcoming. And the signal is hooking, as Evan Foley was going after that puck and he was hindered from getting there. Looks like the Rockers will go back to the box. It's Cade Lambden, the guilty party, and the Prowlers back to the power play for the 4th time tonight. .8 seconds to go in this middle period, so the Prowlers don't score, then the power play will roll over to the 3rd. And Merritt wins it to start it off. Scantlebury gets it back to Jones. Over to Freeborn, settles it down. Down to Merritt, back out to Freeborn with 18. They continue to play catch. Freeborn to Jones, over to Scantlebury. Final 7 seconds ticking off the clock. Scantlebury just does all he can to keep it deep. Foley taken in hard, and that's going to do it for the second period of play here at McMorran Place. And after 40 minutes, 3 goals apiece between the Prowlers and the Rockers. Prowlers will have 1:28 of power play time when the 3rd period begins. Shots on goal in that frame, 10 for the Rockers, 7 for the Prowlers. Port Huron leading the overall shots advantage, 24-22 for the game. Coming up in the second intermission, we'll go over the first 2 periods of play here tonight, and also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule to give you a real good scope of the 7 in 9 that the Prowlers are being faced with on the schedule right now. And we'll do all of that coming up in the second intermission, as once again the Prowlers and Rockers are knotted up at 3 through 40 minutes of play. Secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game on Friday, January 12th, when they face the Watertown Wolves for the first time this season. Puck drop at McMorran Place is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. It's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person at the Old Barn McMorran Place, the way it was meant to be enjoyed. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll chat about the first 40 minutes of play here tonight, and we'll get you set for the third period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHB Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers?
You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
They're cleaning up the chuck-a-pucks here at McMorran Place as the second intermission rolls on, and the Prowlers and Rockers are tied up at 3 apiece. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight for game 2 of 3 of this weekend set between the Rockers and the Prowlers that will finish up tomorrow afternoon at Big Boy Arena, a 2:05 start, which is not too long from now if you're thinking about it in hours, as that would be just, I believe, 17 hours from now, and we still have 20 more minutes to go in this one. So quick turnaround for both of these teams, and we'll see what kind of game we get tomorrow. We'll also see what kind of game we get here in the third period after a second period that featured a lot of what I'm calling ping pong hockey, just dumping it out and the other team dumping it right back in, and then that team dumps it out and dumps right back in, as both teams are just dumping it out to each other, and continuous regroups on both sides. Both teams did score a goal, and unfortunately for the Prowlers, both of those goals came off of their own sticks, as Mitch Jones scored a beauty of a wrist shot, absolutely ripped one past Ricky Gonzalez off a face-off win by Evan Foley 19 seconds into the period for off a face-off in the Prowler zone. I guess TJ Delaney got a touch on it, popped the puck in the air, and as Alex Johnson tried to bat it down, he ended up knocking it into his own net. I wasn't sure that Delaney did touch it. I thought goal might go to Jonathan Giuliano, who was the center. He ends up with an assist on the play. But that tied the game right back up at 3 apiece, and that is where we stand heading into the third period. We'll see what kind of third period we get. Last night, Prowlers were the much better team in the third period. They got the game-tying goal late, but they held the Rockers to 7 shots in that third period. And they were able to pull out, again, the tying goal and then get the game winner in overtime, courtesy of Mitch Jones, who, again, had a goal in that second period. We'll see if the Prowlers and Rockers can get a little bit more going in this third period, as both teams failing to match their first period shot totals. Rockers had 12 in the first, 10 in the second. It's a little bit closer than the Prowlers, who had 17 in the first and just 7 in the middle 20 minutes. And they'll try to improve on those totals, and we'll have that third period for you when we come back. We'll also have the out-of-town scoreboard, the upcoming schedule for the Prowlers, and much, much more. So be sure to stay tuned here on the PHP Network for the rest of the second intermission report coming up next.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Let's go! They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Second intermission wrapping up here from McMorran Place as the Prowlers and Rockers knotted up at 3 goals apiece. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight. And before we take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule and we take a look at the numbers from the second period, let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard. And we have one game that's gone final. And it's the Columbus River Dragons defeating the Carolina Thunderbirds 4-3 in Winston-Salem. So the Dragons will get at least 2 out of 3 this weekend against Carolina. And for now, Columbus sits atop the Continental Division. Jan Salak, the 3rd star of the game, with a goal. Kyle Moore, the 2nd star, with 2. And Jacob Schnapp gets the 1st star honors with 1. And of course, those stars of the game likely a result of some hometown bias, as the Thunderbirds fall by 1 but get 2 in the stars of the game. For Columbus, Justin McDonald led the way with 3 assists. Josh Petrantonio had a goal and an assist. And as I mentioned, Kyle Moore with 2 goals. Gus Ford and Yuri Pastuka, 2 assists apiece. As Columbus defeats Carolina after not having beaten the Thunderbirds yet this season. Coming into this weekend, they've now won 2 straight over the Birds. In Danbury, it's 4-3 as they get to the second intermission. And I know the stats on the website say 3-2 Binghamton, but it is 4-3 Danbury. I just checked their live stream. So the Hat Tricks with the lead through 40 minutes of play there at home, trying to take down the top team in the Empire Division. They're just about to close out the second period in Mississippi. And it's the Zydeco with a 2-1 lead over the Seawolves. Noah Robinson scored shorthanded in the middle frame. That's the only goal of the middle frame as of now. And that is the goal that untied the score, 2-1, as they head into the second intermission. Finally in Watertown, it's the Watertown Wolves with a 3-2 lead on the Elmira River Sharks as they play midway through the second period. Luke James and Schwetton Blacksmith have the goals in the middle period. One aside, but it is a 1-goal lead for the Watertown Wolves. Now let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Port Huron Prowlers. And we talked about it, the 7 games in 9 days. First 2 last night and tonight, and then you see the next 5 up there on your screen, and they are all road games. And there will be a lot of bus time for the Prowlers. They visit the Rockers tomorrow afternoon, and then Tuesday and Wednesday they'll be in Mississippi, and Friday and Saturday they'll be in Carolina for a tough stretch, certainly, especially with the way the Thunderbirds have played the Prowlers this season. And of course the Seawolves gaining some confidence because the last time the Prowlers were at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, the Seawolves beat them in one of the 2 games, and that was the first win in franchise history for Mississippi over Port Huron. But then they'll come back home the following week. There'll be a 3-3 with the Watertown Wolves. The first look at Watertown this season for the Prowlers, and they'll get them here at McMorran Place. The Friday and Saturday games, a 7:05 and 6:05 starts. Of course, again, all 5 of those games next week, when the Prowlers are on the road, they'll be right here on the PHP Network. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, 3-3 is our score through 2. Prowlers up on shots 24-22. Rockers have made good on their only power play. Prowlers are 1 for 3 so far. They have 1:28 left on their 4th power play of the game. And they'll get that when we come back for 3rd period action. Dante Supperdini has a couple assists for Motor City. Mitch Jones with a goal and a helper. Liam Freeborn, 2 goals for the Prowlers tonight, as both teams get set to take the ice, and we'll see who will take another close matchup between the Rockers and the Prowlers this season. Of course, last night another 1-goal game, as all but 2 games so far this year, that's 5 out of the 7, have finished with a final score of 1 goal separating the 2 teams. And 4 of those games have finished with a 3-2 final, all 4 of them here at McMorran Place, including last night's 3-2 overtime win for the Prowlers. Before we start the 3rd period of play, let's take a look back again at our PHP Network trivia question. And it's in regards to last night's overtime game, as it was the 2nd overtime game winner scored by the Prowlers at McMorran Place this season. We want to know the last time the Prowlers had multiple overtime game winners here at McMorran Place in a season. And the answer is their inaugural 2015-16 season. And of course, that year ending in a championship for Port Huron. And that question, a bit of a toughie. But we'll have another one for you tomorrow, of course, in every game all season long. Ian Wallace getting set in the goal crease to our right. He has made 19 saves on 22 Rockers shots. Meanwhile, Ricky Gonzalez is in the goal crease to our left. He's made 21 saves on 24 Prowlers shots. Again, it's a Prowlers power play for the next minute and 28 seconds as Kate Lambton continues to sit in the box for hooking. And the Prowlers send out the unit that scored the power play goal tonight, featuring Mitch Jones at the point, as Wynn claps it around. And Freeborn, who scored that power play goal, just able to keep it in momentarily. But now Milam had his pass taken away. Scantleberry softly to Jones, skates in with it, fires it to Foley in the slot. His backhander goes wide. Freeborn tried to force it back deep. Delaney took it away. Had a man driving, that was Giuliano. Delaney will take it himself and play it right into the stick of Jones. That one flies high out of play and hits one of the Silver Stick banners hanging from the rafters down at that end of McMorran Place. Prowlers will switch up the units with Sneath and Graham set for the faceoff. Conway lined up right behind TJ Sneath. There's some confusion here. It looks like the penalty clock didn't start running when the period clock did, so now they have to fix it, and they finally do. 55 seconds are left on this Prowlers power play. Graham and Sneath back in on the faceoff. Conway up the draw, rips one off of Schumacher. Suffredini thought he kept it in, but apparently not. So he dumps it back in. Rockers are whistled for offside, still shorthanded for next 48 seconds. And of interest to Michigan fans of the Prowlers or the Rockers, the Detroit Pistons have won a game, ending a historic record-setting losing streak, as was reported here inside the arena between periods. So I guess the misery is over, at least for now, for the Detroit Pistons. So that one flies back out to center. Comes across to Schumacher, tried to touch it along, and instead it's Conway moving back the other direction. His shot sticked away by Wallace. He got it with the knob of the stick. And the Pistons winning reminds me of the Delaware Thunder setting some records last year in North American professional hockey, at least, maybe even professional sports, with a lengthy losing streak last year that I believe exceeded 30 games. As we're back to 5-on-5, here's Scantlebury with a wrist shot stopped by Gonzalez. Merritt flying in as that puck was loose, and everyone will gather. Chartrand and Delaney giving each other some extra shoves. Paul Jean is up near the blue line, pointing his finger at somebody and giving the thumb towards the penalty box. We'll see who that is. Only the Rockers' penalty box door is open, and it's Devon Fields. And high sticking is the call. I can't say I saw it, but Fields sits for the second time tonight, and the Prowlers go right back to the man advantage, which has let them down a few times tonight and was unable to record a shot in their last opportunity. The only shot on their power play came off the stick of Declan Conway, and I feel like I've said that a couple of times this weekend, with the Rockers getting the only shot or shots of a Prowlers power plays. That one from Jones is gloved by Gonzalez. So at least the Prowlers will get a shot on this power play. 5 seconds gone in it. Foley gets it back. Freeborn walks and fires, and that's off a stick and out of play. Of course, Liam Freeborn on hat trick alert. He had one last year in Watertown, and that was the same game where tonight's goaltender for the Prowlers, Ian Wallace, had a shutout. The only shutout of last season for Port Huron. Chipped along by Giuliano, but off the boards and out of play. 14 seconds gone in the penalty to Fields, although it feels like a lot longer than that with all these whistles. Merritt and Giuliano to draw once again. It comes back to Jones, over to Freeborn, quickly across to Scantlebury. Couldn't get that shot off. Freeborn back to Jones. Now Scantlebury walks in. Jones again, one-timer, stopped by Gonzalez, and it sticks to him right in the breadbasket. He'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 30 seconds gone in the Prowlers power play. And Port Huron will switch up the unit. Sneath and Federley in on this face-off. Bounced around. Federley tried to go between his own legs, and he couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. That might have been his only play. Puck bouncing around, and Federley works it out to Sim, who settles it down. That pass got past Federley, and Conway sends it all the way down, but Austin Federley, as that puck went towards the middle of the ice, Gonzalez looked like he was sliding across in time if Federley went to the backhand, so he tried between the legs and just couldn't get it on net. Graham out high to Federley. Gets it back, and they continue to play catch. Federley wristed it off the corner boards, right to Schumacher. Johnson to Federley, one-timer, and Gonzalez got a piece of that, also hit the side of the cage. Federley up high. Johnson walks in. Johnson still with it behind the net. Feeds it to the corner to Sim. Now to Schumacher with 15 left in the Prowlers power play. Federley to Schumacher. Now Johnson with 10 in the man advantage. Schumacher again, wrists it through, blockered away by Gonzalez. And the puck squirts out to center. We're back to 5-on-5. Prowlers trying to catch the Rockers in a change. Here's Graham. And Gonzalez got a piece to send it out of play. Another unsuccessful power play for the Prowlers. We stay tied at 3. 16-19 to go in the third period. Merritt will draw with Kuhn. Merritt wins it. Scantlebury to the net. Just sent it wide. Suffredini played it up the wall right into Chartrand. Scantlebury absorbs contact behind the net. Now it's Suffredini. Tried to flip it out towards Kuhn. Drops on Dalton Young's tape. And Scantlebury sends it into Merritt. Cycling it for Chartrand, who continues it moving. Scantlebury hustles after it. He's knocked down by Colton. Puck comes out to Tim Delaney. Curls back, waits for help. Getting it in Wells' direction. Parsons knocked it partially away. Comes out high. Sim finds the loose biscuit. He'll move up ice. Now Foley, backhander, stopped by Gonzalez. He'll hang on for a whistle. So Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off. Evan Foley's line out there. And Mitch Jones lined up right in that same spot where he scored early in the second. This time Foley can't get it back to him, and Rotundi plays around his own net. Long lead pass on for Delaney, kicks off his skate, and Johnson feeds it to Jones. Picard tips it along. Now Fields gets the red line, dumps it in. Gaudet after it. Tried to center. Prowlers took it away. Here's Picard. Sim touches it on for Foley. Across to Jones. He'll dump it in. 14:40 left to go in the third period as the Rockers try to come out. It's Fields dangling and sent a pass all the way across that didn't find its intended target. Now Conway almost stole a breakout pass from the Prowlers. Puck pinballs over to the far side wall. Lambden to win at the point. His shot blocked by Jay, and Schumacher skates into it. Schumacher took a hit from Milam. Got the puck deep Freeborn took a spill. Now Freeborn lifting a stick behind the net. Bounces around down near the crease. Graham tried to chop it back on net, but the puck just bounced away. Schumacher winds, fires through traffic. I think that hit Graham on the way through. Heinzel has it. He'll drive one that's gloved by Ricky Gonzalez, who will hang on for a whistle. 13:49 left to go in a tied third period from McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at McMorran Place, 13:49 left to go in the third period. Prowlers up on shots early on, 5-1. Well, we're still tied at 3 in front of a crowd of 1,453 here at McMorran Place. 3 of those shots for Port Huron in this period coming on that last power play. They'll get an offensive zone face-off here as Federley gets set to draw with Sneath. Federley wins it back. Johnson walks, has space, lets it go, and I think it tipped wide. Merritt behind the net. Has it back, rims it up the wall. Lambden tips it past Johnson, and Jones after it. Up towards Federley, hopped away from him. Suffredini plays it back in. Johnson over towards Jones. Sneath gets it deep. Popped up in the air. Conway and Federley trying to settle it down. Lambden and Johnson in there as well. Conway pulls it out, and Suffredini just keeps it in at the blue line. Lambden tried to play it between his legs in front. That's taken away by Alex Johnson. They'll send it out. Suffredini, quick up to Lambden. Taken in hard by Johnson. Johnson will play it off the boards. Foley trying to skate into it. It was knocked back by Suffredini, who skates the other direction. From the outside, sent it right through the crease. Scantlebury waiting for it on the near side wall, but Rotundi jumps in to take it away. Rotundi around the net, waiting for help off the bench. Wells wristed it from the point, and then Kuhn turned it just wide. Rotundi again. Plays it over to Wells. Wrist shot blocked by Chartrand. Parsons steps out, backhander. Knocked down right on Field's stick. Parsons has it again. And Parsons for a third time. This time he'll give it to Young and get it back. Quick up towards Scantlebury, missed him. And we'll get an icing and a face-off all the way back in the Prowlers' end. And now Chartrand and Wells getting into a pushing and shoving match. Chartrand's throwing his stick. Wells has a glove off. They still jaw as the linesmen get in between. But no fisticuffs this time, as they'll both head to the penalty boxes. Excuse me, that was actually Wells' stick that went flying. Chartrand still has his. They'll both head to the penalty boxes. And we'll see what we get out of this. Originally, it was an icing. And now Matt Graham being waved over by Paul Jean. Actually, Paul Jean was waving over his refereeing partner, who was standing right next to Matt Graham. Originally, the whistle was for an icing against the Prowlers, but now a little bit more to figure out. And there's taking a little bit of time as Gene and Jonathan Satarski have a chat in front of the penalty boxes, with Evan Foley and Jamison Milam over there to represent their teams. Not sure if they're thinking about giving an extra penalty to one guy. It looks like they may have given Dan Chartrand an extra penalty. It's at least the indication I'm getting as of now. The Prowlers looking for some extra explanation. I believe that is what it's going to be. So a Rockers power play coming. I'll let you know what the extra penalty is, because right now Chartrand and Wells both have 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct, as Picard will go and serve the other 2. As soon as the extra 2 come down my penalty sheet, and now they switched Wells over to roughing. Sneath and Merritt in on the face-off. And it's 1 to the boards to Conway. Rockers set up. Here's Wynn. Over to Milam. Touches it back. Conway steps and fires. Catches the back glass. Milam. Over to Conway. Back to Milam, the one-timer. Wallace couldn't gather it in after he made the initial save. Now it's worked back up to Milam. He walks, gives it to Wynn. Now Sneath winds up, fires, and he scores. A shot through traffic from TJ Sneath finds its way to the back of the net, and the Rockers take their first lead of the night. It's 4-3 with 11:10 to go in the third period. And after being held without a point last night for the first time in his Rockers career, TJ Sneath has his 6th goal of the year and 4th on the power play. So the Prowlers find themselves behind for the first time tonight, but not for the first time this weekend. We'll see if they have any more magic left in them, as Foley played it off of Giuliano's skate. Back the other way is Gaudette. Inside out move. Ends up with a spinning backhander that's held on to by Ian Wallace. Faceoff will come over to the far side faceoff dot. Deep in Prowler territory. Comes to the middle of the ice, and Giuliano just lofts one over top of the cage. Comes out, Sim on a 2-on-1 with Foley. Foley, wrist shot, and Gonzalez has it shut down. So it's TJ Sneath from Mike Wynn and Jamison Milam, officially a power play goal for Motor City. Rockers' 2nd power play goal of the night. There's Barrett, and Sneath gets set to draw. Battle 4 along the boards. Comes out to Johnson. He lofts it in. Rotundi trying to keep it away from Federley. And Gonzalez just clamps the glove on top. And now some more extracurriculars. As Fields, I believe, has Federley wrapped up. And Fields just wrestles Austin Federley to the ice. We'll see if we'll get anything out of this. Looks like nothing further. And we'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Prowlers with 10:27 left to go in the third period. Port Huron will switch up the defense pairing, sending out Milton Young and Frank Schumacher. Sneath gets it to the wall. He'll lift Federley's stick and rim it around. Now Federley in front, wrapped. Picard couldn't pull the trigger as he was falling. Now Schumacher just doing all he can to keep it in, but it's banked out. Conway gives it to Lambden all by himself. He had a step. Prowlers defended it nicely, and no penalty called. Federley the other way. Sauces it to Picard. He tipped it wide. And then Picard taken down away from the play. Graham centered, but nobody home. And now it's dumped all the way down. Icing called against the Rockers with 9:44 to go in the third. As Cade Lambden had a step, but he was defended, and Wallace even made the save. But the Rockers still have a 1-goal lead with 9:44 left to go in the third. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at McMorran Place, 9:44 to go in regulation. Prowlers trail by a goal, 4-3 our score. And the intensity has certainly ramped up here in the third. We've seen plenty of extracurricular activity after the whistles in front of the nets, and lots more going on in between the whistles as well. TJ Sneath has the only goal of this third period, a power play goal. What was just a seeing eye shot through traffic with plenty of bodies in front of Ian Wallace. And there's been a penalty put up on the board just now as Cade Lambden is going to the box. Nobody asked me what he did because I don't know. We'll get a hint when the penalty actually comes down my penalty sheet. Must have been something that went on during the intermission or the TV timeout, and looks like that is the case, as unsportsmanlike conduct is the penalty to Cade Lambden. He gets 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. So Prowlers back to the power play, now trailing by 1. Freeborn just does keep it in, but Giuliano sends it out. He'll hustle after it, but Jones beats him to it. Pops out to Delaney to the backhand, just couldn't reach it. Neither could Giuliano with Ian Wallace in the slot. Giuliano had a wide open net. Prowlers escape that one. And And now they'll try and get the power play going. It's Scantleberry all the way around the net. Out to Freeborn, over to Jones. Now Foley. Bounces it to Jones. Gets it back. Foley to Merritt. And that one went off of Wynn, I believe. Merritt has it again. Jones just whiffed on the pass across to Scantleberry. He'll have to chase after it. Quick up to Freeborn. Stops up. Foley in the corner. Rims it around. Jones grabs it. Tried the back pass to Scantleberry. That was disrupted. Battled for along the wall in front of the Rockers bench and slides to Prowler ice as Port Huron is in the midst of a change. Johnson revving the engines. Johnson tried to touch it over to Picard. Now Graham giving it to Sim. He's blanketed by Gaudette. Johnson out high with 30 seconds left in the power play. Johnson to Federley. Gives it back. Walks, gives to Picard the one-timer. And Gonzalez with the shoulder, able to clutch that between his arm and his body. Gonna make the save. 19 seconds left on the penalty to Cade Lambden. That's the first Prowler shot of this power play. This unit stays out there. Federley gets set to draw with Giuliano. Brandon Picard back on the power play where Frank Schumacher was earlier in this game as he cycles it deep. Take it away. Johnson just able to block it, keeps it in momentarily, and Giuliano bounces it out, and that's going to do it for this Prowlers man advantage. Back to 5-on-5 as Federley skates up. Closed off by Lambden. Sim fed it across. Here's Picard trying to turn with it. Now Federley steals it, gives to Jay. Fresh off the bench. Picard back to Dalton Jay, flying in and out of the glove of Gonzalez. Prowlers back on the puck. Parsons wrists it through, knocked down, deflected wide. That took a couple of direction changes. Graham took a hard hit from Rotundi. We approach 7 minutes to go in regulation. Kuhn drops it off. Quick shot stopped by Wallace. Parsons fell down. Puck goes right through the crease. Ends up on the near side. Scantleberry over to Jay. Fields flies in. All by himself with his team in the midst of a change. Knocked down. He and Schumacher both go down to the ice. Now Sneath putting some work in. Took a bump. And Scantleberry chops it out. And now behind the play, Sneath's helmet is off. Paul Jean's arm is up in the air, and he's sending Brian Parsons to the penalty box. And with 6.5 to go in period 3, the Rockers, who just scored a power play goal in this period, have an opportunity to extend the lead. Big opportunity for Motor City here. Roughing is the call against Parsons as Sneath gets set to draw with Evan Foley. In just a moment, hopefully. And looks like there's an issue with Sneath's helmet. So he'll have to step onto the bench, and Giuliano will come replace him on this power play, along with Conway, TJ Delaney, Wynn, and Milam. Top unit for Motor City. Tied up there, kicked back by Giuliano, but Chartrand cut it off, and he sends it down ice. He'll chase after it, along with Wynn, who has the puck now. Wynn gives it to Giuliano. Works up ice, gets in. all the way around the cage. Up to Milam. Walks in, fires one, sits there in the blue paint, and pushed just wide. And the Prowlers are about to get another penalty as a stick came up on Conway. And we'll see who the guilty party is. Looks like it's Austin Federley. And so a 5-on-3 coming for Motor City for 1 minute and 27 seconds. As Austin Federley sits, or 2 ticks under 6 minutes left to go in regulation. And things falling apart a little bit for the Prowlers here. And Jonathan Sitarski going over to the penalty box and having a chat with Federley. They shut the door and we're set to go again. Puck goes through the Motor City defense, but Merritt couldn't catch up to it before Wynn got there. And it's bumped back to Schumacher. He'll take his time. Plays it off the glass. But Merritt was offsides as he touched that puck. So the faceoff will come back towards the Prowlers' end. Prowlers are able to kill this off. Kill off the 5-on-3. It will be 33 seconds more of 5-on-4 time for the Rockers. As Sneath and Foley get set for the draw. Sneath wins it back. Wynn over to Conway. Right back to Mike Wynn. Walks in, Milam. Quickly to Conway, wrist shot. Deflected high. Wallace couldn't control it. Wynn over to Conway. Rockers set back up. Conway walks in, down deep. Sneath to the front. Kicked out by Wallace and cleared by Evan Foley. Prowlers change to the 3 killers. 40 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Milam dumps it around. Conway over to Milam. Winds, feeds it across. They score. TJ Delaney on the backdoor one-timer. And with a tick under 5 to play in the third, the Rockers have a 2-goal lead and still 1 minute 1 of power play time left. And for TJ Delaney, he picks up his 8th goal of the year, 2nd on the power play. After a beautiful pass across, and it gave him a wide open cage. No chance for Ian Wallace on that one. Suffredini took a hit from Graham, and now Colton up to Gaudette. Dumps it in. Gaudette all the way around. Fed out high to Suffredini. Walks, gives to Colton. Now to Giuliano. Winds, fires, stopped by Wallace. The rebound, he has that one too. Off the stick of Wells. Giuliano sent it across, and an interference penalty is being whistled. I think it's against Motor City. And Tristan Wells is the one heading to the box. So we'll have 4-on-4 for the next 25 seconds, and maybe, just maybe, an opportunity for the Prowlers to get one back and give themselves a chance. 4:23 left to go in regulation. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's! 25 seconds of 4-on-4 time will precede a minute and 35 seconds of Prowlers power play time as Port Huron looks to get back in this one. Invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow. The Prowlers and the Rockers play their third game in 3 nights, and it will be an afternoon matinee at Big Boy Arena, 2:05 puck drop, a 1:50 pregame show. We'll have it for you right here on the PHP Network. Prowlers had leads of 1-0, 2-1, and 3-2 in this game, but the Rockers had the last 3 goals, 2 of them here in the third, and both of those third period goals coming on the power play. And they have the 2-goal lead with time ticking down in this one. Face-off ends up coming out of the Rockers zone. It's Colton. Turning it back up, he'll dump it in. TJ Delaney, the latest goal scorer, taken in by Freeborn. Puck's underneath. Dug out. And now Scantleberry working the other way. It's now Prowlers power play as Federley steps out of the box. Backhanded towards Prowler ice. So a minute 26 of power play time, a must score certainly for the Prowlers. Freeborn looking for Foley, who has the puck now in front and just couldn't connect with Merritt. Jones up to Scantleberry. Prowlers start in. Scantleberry finds Merritt, bangs it off the back wall, rims around for Freeborn. Foley back to Freeborn, over to Jones. Wrist shot, caught the glass. Rotundi able to find it, and the Prowlers keep it from going all the way down. They'll play it back at center. Foley starts up, feeds it to Scantleberry, but offside the call from the linesman with 2:58 left in this one. They'll switch up the power play unit. Federley and Gaudette set to draw. They'll try it again. Picard gives it to Johnson. Couldn't get it in. Good play by Cade Lambden to stall the blue line. And Gonzalez forced to cover up on that dump in. So the Prowlers with 23 seconds left on their power play will have an offensive zone faceoff. And a timeout called by Chris Paulin on the Prowlers bench. They'll talk about it. And the Prowlers, after what was a good first period, they ended up coming out tied. They kept taking the lead in this one, but after the Mitch Jones goal in the second, it's been all Motor City. TJ Delaney has 2. TJ Sneath has 1. And Delaney, of course, getting credit for the one that Alex Johnson accidentally batted into his own net. The Prowlers had an opportunity tonight with the Rockers leading scorer Scott Kowash going inactive to really take a stranglehold on this weekend against Motor City, but instead it looks like, at least as of now, unless the Prowlers can get 2 goals here in the final 2:46, that the Rockers will get back on track against the Prowlers and snap the Prowlers' 3-game winning streak in the Battle of I-94. Gaudette and Federley in on the face-off. Federley wins it back. Jones grabs it, fires a drive, rebound pushed wide by Graham, The first shot was blocked bravely by Gaudette. It's Gaudette skating it out, had his stick lifted by Federley. And now Milam with the puck as the Prowlers power play is over. 2:23 left to go in regulation. Graham tried to backhand it in. It was taken away and Gaudette dumps it deep. Prowlers net is empty and icing called against Motor City. It's a 6-on-5 attack for the Prowlers. And they'll send out a fresh 6 with 2:12 to go in regulation. Milam backhands it off the linesman, but the Rockers still able to get it out and down to Prowler ice. We hit the 2 minutes to play mark here in this third period. Foley on for Scantlebury. Plays it towards the net, kicked out by Gonzalez. And that one lofted out. Back to Prowler ice where Freeborn collects. 100 seconds to go in this one. Chartrand had it stolen. Was able to poke it back out of the zone. Scantlebury flying in for the puck. And offsides called at the Motor City line with 1:30 up on the clock. And again, it's looking like the Rockers will be able to take this one. Scantlebury having a little extra conversation with the Motor City bench. Paul Jean is pointing to somebody on the Rockers bench. Faceoff will be just outside the Rockers zone. That must have just been a warning from the FPHL's head of officiating. Giuliano and Federley in on this faceoff. Merritt split all the way out wide at the top of your screen. Federley won the faceoff. Johnson shot it right off of Sim. And now Delaney for the hat trick. And he just shot it wide, and icing is called against Motor City. So they'll drag it out a little bit further. 1:21 left to go in the third. Prowlers need 2 to get back in this one and send it to overtime. They have Wallace on the bench, Giuliano and Federley in on the faceoff. Jones plays it off the boards. Graham fed it deep. And that one fired all the way down the length of the ice. And another icing against the Rockers with 1:09 to go. So another face-off to Ricky Gonzalez's left. He's made 31 saves tonight, and all 10 he's faced here in the third period. Jones fires one, and Gonzalez makes another stop. They'll have another face-off. Schumacher steps off the bench for Sam Merritt. Schumacher, of course, with the game-tying goal a week ago in Danbury with under a minute to go. Of course, the Prowlers need 2 here tonight as Jones plays it off the boards and in. Under a minute to go. Federley looking for Jones. That was stolen away. And TJ Delaney had another opportunity at the empty net, but he mishandled the puck. Now Jones with a power move, and he fired it wide. Johnson has to retreat back to center with the puck. Plays it up the boards to Graham. Gave it away. Sneath had his shot knocked down. Johnson with a long lead pass touched by Federley. Now kicked back along. Jay skates hard into it. Jay in front, bounces around near the crease, and that one flies out of play And we'll get a delay of game penalty coming against the Rockers, and Devon Fields heads back to the sin bin. 23 seconds up on the clock. Still 2-goal lead for Motor City. Again, we'll have a quick turnaround tomorrow. As in about 16 hours, these two teams will drop the puck again. Scantlebury right off the faceoff, played it into some bodies. Jones back to the slot. That was taken away. Lambden fires it out. Elton Young back in with 10. Touched back to center. Jones will retreat with it, and the Motor City Rockers have evened up this weekend series as Gonzalez gets one last save. And the Rockers defeat the Prowlers by a final score of 5-3 here at McMorran Place. And Motor City improves to 12-5-4, 38 points for them this season. Well, the Prowlers dropping to 8-9-3 and stick at 25 points this year. A tough one for the Rockers, or for the Prowlers, excuse me. They blow a couple of leads in this one. And the Rockers skate off with 3 points. We'll have the rubber match tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. Be sure to catch it here on the PHP Network. 2:05 puck drop, 1:50 pregame show. We'll have it all for you right here on the PHP Network. And we'll see what kind of game we get. A 3-3 for these teams, with the third game again being about 16 hours from this moment right here. They'll be right just about 16 hours from now. They'll be dropping the puck, or at least about to get to the national anthem at Big Boy Arena. So not too much time to sleep and recover. And we'll see what we get tomorrow in the rubber match of this 3-game set. Jamison Milam, the third star of the game tonight with 2 assists. Liam Freeborn, second star with 2 goals. And TJ Delaney, the first star of the game tonight, with a 2-goal performance. Dante Supperdini also had a pair of helpers for Motor City. Mitch Jones, a goal and an assist for the Prowlers. Ian Wallace comes up with 27 saves for Port Huron, and Ricky Gonzalez gets 33 for Motor City in his first win over the Prowlers in his third try. That's going to do it for me. For Kim running the camera, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time right here on the PHP Network.